Multiple effect evaporator. So here multiple means we use more than one evaporator which are interconnected to each other. Let us start the video with the principle. So here we use multiple evaporators, means we are using more than one evaporator, usually 3 or 5, which are interconnected. The vapors which are produced from the first evaporator is used as a steam or heat source in the next evaporator. So in the multiple effect evaporators, they are placed vertically and are connected to each other. Construction of multiple effect evaporator. So multiple effect evaporator usually contains a number of evaporators, usually 3 or 5. So in this diagram we can see there are 3 evaporators which are connected to each other and they are placed vertically. And they are made up of cast iron with a dome shaped top and bottom. So in this diagram we can see they have the dome shaped top and dome shaped bottom, and this is made up of cast iron. This is made up of cast iron, and there are number of tubes, about 100 tubes, which are fitted inside the evaporators called as calendria. So in this diagram we can see there are number of tubes. So here we can see the tubes, and these tubes usually they are 100 in numbers, and together it is called as calendria. Then the diameter of these tubes is 0.05 to 0.07 meters and having a length of 1 to 2 meters. The diameter of this tubes is 0.02 to 0.05, and the length is about 1 to 2 meters. The last evaporator is connected to the cyclone separator. Other parts like inlet, feed valves to control the steam and feed rate, and the product collector is at the bottom, and condenser is connected to condense the vapor. So here you can see each and every evaporator has the feed inlet, that is F1 and F2, F3, and there is a space for a steam inlet, that is entry of steam, that is S1, S2 and S3, and at the bottom there is a space for the collection of the concentrated product, that is resultant product. Here you can see the concentrated product, and finally to the last evaporator a separator is connected, which is through which the vapors are removed from the evaporating system. Now the working of multiple effect evaporator. The sample which is supposed to be subjected for the evaporation process is introduced into the evaporators through the feed inlet. At the same time, the way of introduction of the sample into the evaporator is of different types, like as follows. The first one is forward feed arrangement, backward feed arrangement, and next one is the mixed feed arrangement, then parallel feed arrangement. Forward feed arrangement. In this type, both feed and the steam are introduced from the first evaporator. From the first evaporator, the sample, that is feed, and the steam are move in a forward direction. That is why it is called as forward feed arrangement. Backward feed arrangement. In this type, feed is introduced from the last evaporator and steam is introduced from the first evaporator. Mixed feed. Here the feed is introduced from the middle evaporator. Then feed will move forward to the third evaporator and then backward to the first evaporator. Parallel feed arrangement. In this type, the feed is preheated and it is directly introduced into the evaporators individually. Means the feed is introduced in the each and every evaporators individually and it is preheated. Working of triple feed evaporator, parallel feed. So in this type there are three evaporators, that is called as triple effect evaporator, namely E1, E2 and E3. In this diagram you can see there are three evaporators, that is E1, E2 and E3, and they are connected to each other and they are placed vertically. And the next part is feed, that is F1, F2 and F3 are introduced into the evaporators individually up to the surface of the tubes, that is calendria. So in this diagram we can see the feed F1 and F2 and F3, they are introduced into the evaporator and up to the mark of the calendria, that is up to the mark of the tubes. Then the steam is introduced through the steam inlet, which will enter into the tubes. So here in the parallel feed in the triple effect evaporator, the feed is preheated, that is before introduction into the evaporator it is heated, then it is introduced in the evaporator and it starts boiling, and the vapors which are produced, here we can see the vapors, and these vapors will send to the next evaporator through this tube, and it is connected to the second evaporator, and there is a inlet called as steam tube, that is S2 inlet to the second evaporator. That is the vapors which are produced from the first evaporator act as the heating source to the next evaporator, that is in the second evaporator. Then the heat transferred from the steam to the tubes, and from the tubes to the feed. As soon as the feed receives the heat, starts vaporizing. These vapors are sent to the second evaporator, which acts as a heating source in the second evaporator, and the same process is continued in the third evaporator also. Here there are some valves, that is C1, C2 and C3. In this diagram you can see here it is a C1, C2, that here you can see C2 and C3. So these are the places where the vapors are get condensed, and it is removed from the evaporator. The concentrated product is collected from the bottom of the evaporators. Here we can see, here we are going to collect the concentrated product from the bottom of the evaporators. And there are valves like V1, V2 and V3. They are kept opened initially to remove the air, then immediately after removal of the air it is closed in order to develop the pressure inside the evaporators. So in this diagram we can see here is valve V1 and V2 and V3. So these are kept open initially in order to remove the air, and as soon as the air is removed, immediately it is closed in order to develop a pressure inside the evaporators. Then finally in the last evaporator, vacuum is connected and the vapors are removed from the top, and the concentrated product is collected from the bottom. So here in the last evaporator, so separator is connected and vacuum is connected, and the vapors which are transferred from one evaporator to another evaporator, finally the vapors get removed or separated from the last evaporator, and vapors leaves the equipment, and we are going to collect the product from the bottom of the evaporators. So here in the triple effect evaporator, we preheated feed we are going to introduce in the first evaporator. As we are going to introduce in the first evaporator, it starts boiling, or you can see the vaporization takes place, and these vapors are sent to the second evaporator, and here these vapors act as a heating source, that is these vapors are sent to the next evaporator, that is second evaporator, through the S2 valve, and S2 valve is connected to these tubes, that is calendria, and these tubes receives the heat from the vapors, and they get heated up, and this heat is get transferred to the sample or the feed, and this sample starts vaporizing, and these vapors are again sent to the third evaporator, and the same process will repeat here also. So Merits of multiple effect evaporator: reduces steam consumption, energy saving, large production rate, lowers energy cost, lower operating cost, useful for the large scale production, reduces chances of thermal degradation. Hence, it is useful for heat sensitive materials. Do not affect the quality and efficacy of the pharmaceutical ingredient, that is, active pharmaceutical ingredient. And scalability is possible, that is, by modification, we can advance the equipment, and it also helps in increasing the production rate. Demerits of multiple effect evaporator: the first one is construction cost is very high, then chances of cross contamination is there, then the design is very complex, then difficult to clean the and maintain the equipment because of its complex design. Cleaning and sterilization between the batches is required. Difficult to adapt the frequent changes when it is required, and require more space for the installation, and limited suitability for highly viscous materials. Economy of multiple effect evaporator: the feed or the sample is introduced at its boiling point into the evaporator. Therefore, there is no need of more heat to raise the temperature. The heat transferred to the liquid is acts as or serve as a latent heat. There are very less chance of heat loss. So the economy of multiple effect evaporator can be easy to understand by using the following equation. So here we are going to compare the economy of multiple effect evaporator with the economy of a single evaporator. So here the economy of the single evaporator is equal to the vapor which is produced and total mass of the steam supplied. Means, so how much steam is going to supply to the evaporator, that much vapor is going to produce in case of single evaporators. Means there is no the steam, because of it is a single evaporator, and there is one inlet for the steam, and we can supply only once at a time, so that the steam is used to vaporize the liquid, and the vapors which are produced is the quantity of the vapors which are produced is directly depend on the steam which is supplied. So in case of multiple effect evaporator, the unit of steam can produce many number of multiple number of, that is, many number or multiple number of vapor. Means here also we are going to we are supplying the steam at once, okay, and but the vapors which are produced in the evaporators is more, that is multiple times, whereas in case of single evaporator only once vapors are produced, and in case of multiple effect evaporator the steam is supplied only once, but the vapors which are produced is multiple times, that is n times. Therefore, there is a bigger saver, or you can say the a large saving of the steam or heat source in case of multiple effect evaporator. So it is more beneficial when compared to the single evaporators. So that is what the benefits, or you can say the economy of the multiple effect evaporator.